Yeah, what, Amit?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. You have done well, yeah.
Um,
I have
yes,
evaluated all the feedbacks at the internals.
yes, sir. Good, sir.
How? What is your feedback here on the software?
Software is also good, sir. No problem.
Mm-hmm. You have exam today?
Yes, sir. OMD, sir.
Oh, acha, okay.
You also is there, na, sir?
Huh?
You also is there, na, sir? OMD lab.
OMD
Ganesh,
me,
sir.
yeah?
Yes, sir. Ganesh, sir, and you and Resma, ma'am.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Okay. What I will do with OMD? Okay. Anyway, you can put all those diagrams in your project sequence, activity, collaborations. Okay, shall we start? I think only few students are there, but everybody are preparing for lab. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Actually today there is only one concept left out in Ajax. Okay, so that I will be completing. If it I am done with it today with your entire syllabus, maybe you can just go through all the contents of the syllabus. Okay, then we can do the revision in the the next classes. Okay, so today I will be talking about what is called as a fallback pattern. Okay,
Sir,
so
wait
which is
for sir 1 and 2 minutes, sir, because there's so many less student.
oh yeah, it's already 11:57.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I will start anyway. I will upload it and I will also send the contents in the Google Classroom. They can view it, or if they have any clarification, let them ask.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so I'll be doing about the concept on fallback pattern, which is very important topic in Ajax. Okay, the submission throttling, periodic fresh refresh patterns, and fallback pattern all always goes hand in hand. See, we always talk about the client side, the processing of information, but we never talk about what happens at the other side because we'll not have any kind of a control on the other side I mean to say at the server side, because as a client I will just send only a request. Okay, and I don't know how the processing happens at the server side. Through my manual coding I can understand what exactly is happening at the server side, but many a times it so happens that in the enterprise application it is not possible to know, okay, whether the request is being handled properly, whether the requested information is being sent in a sequential order. So like this, there are a lot of issues that happens at the server side because the multiple server configurations will be there, multiple requests keeps coming from different category of users, etc. Okay, but how do we handle all these things at the server side? So that is the objective. So the objective is to handle the dynamic request processing at the server side. Okay, we exactly want to know so what happens at the server side. So the background for this pattern is, the typical web transactions deals with when to send and receive a data from a server, which pre supposes that everything goes according to plan on the server side. Okay, so that means what, as a client, when I am sending the information at a specific intervals of time, I only know that the information in terms of packets will leave the system and reach to a server through various means or through a middleware component. But how it reaches, how it goes, the client is least bothered about it. Okay, so once the request is being sent to a server, and server can be any kind of a server, it need not be always a web server, it can be a proxy server, or it can be an intermediary servers between a main server and the client, or they say browser. So once the request is received, okay, the necessary changes are made and appropriate response is sent back to the client. That means what, through an Ajax engine, when the request being sent to a server, all the necessary information that is required to process will be taken care by the server side. Server side code will be something different, and the client side request being sent will be different. But what happens if there is an error on this server? How do we know whether server is working properly or not? Okay, so in the worst case, there might be a chances that request will never go to a server. Say for example, you are sending, you are in a browser, you are just typing something and you are sending that as a request to a server. Okay, say after 2 seconds or 3 seconds or 5 seconds, it's a timed out. That means within the required time, the page or say web page is not able to open. Or sometimes what happens, there might be some kind of a server which have error that happens at the server side. Okay, so I'm sending some information, but I'm not able to locate the page which I am supposed to get it. Say I just wanted to know something about, say, a web Ajax web engine model. I just type it in the Google and I will send it. So it will hit to some specific server. In that server, that information might not be there, but we don't know whether that page is there or not. From our side, we have sent a request, but server has to process it. So sometimes what happens, you are not able to get that response within the specific time, or it will give some kind of an internal error, or it will give say http 404 error. So like this, it will give you a lot of errors. So all these things typically happens at the server side. Okay, so what is the scope of this concept? If there is a error that occurs on the server, that means what the status is 200. You know what is the status 200? That means okay, request is sent, server has got that request, and it is being processed. Again, when it is being processed and sent back to the client, we check for ready state change is equal to 4. If it is 4, then you get a required response. Suppose the there is some kind of a mismatch in the server configuration. A server is not able to process the request due to various reasons. Okay. So during that time, what happens? The specific file might not be there, or there might be internal server which gives you an HTTP 302. Okay, and again you just try to refresh the page. Again, you just try to resend it. But when this kind of multiple request goes to a server, there will be a burden on the server. Okay, and it gets stacked on the top of a server. Okay, for to fix this, administrator has to relook on the entire configuration under kind and category of requests that is coming to administrator to fix this problem. So hence this is a time consuming process. So this cannot be handled if there are some mission critical data available. Okay, so typically, in any web applications, there are two different types of errors that might occur. One is that server errors that gives the status codes. What do you mean by status codes? Like 404, 302. Okay, so like this. These are called as status codes. So that means due to some problem, server is not able to process the request. The second category is failure to reach the server. So why this happens? Might be server is down, or there might be a lot of traffic in the network, or there might be a loss in the internet connections. So there are various reasons, uh, for various reasons to let the server down. Okay, for the processing of the client request. As a client, we might not know what exactly happens at the server side. So there should be some mechanism, okay, to handle the requests. See, if you keep on sending requests, request 1, request 2, request 3, so all the requests will go into a network. Okay, and somewhere it will sit in the network, and we think that we have sent a request and we will wait for a response. So there might be a possibility that a request might not turn up at all. So what is the simplest way to handle this? Okay, how do we handle this? The simplest way to deal with the situation is to simply cancel all the pending requests. That means when I'm sending a request from a client, requests, okay, multiple requests, I mean to say, I say request 1, request 2, request 3, request 4, and a request 5. If this information is being sent to a server, You can set a delay or a time gap if the response is not coming within the specified time. You cancel the request. If the request is not reaching the server within this specified time, you cancel the request. If the request is there in the network for some time, you cancel the request. Who can do this? A client, when he is sending informations along with the http header, so he can write a code in such a way, so that within the minimum time, if the request is not being sent to a server, then you have to abort, you can cancel the request. Okay. Now, so what you can do, you can set a flag somewhere in the code saying that don't send any more request. Okay, that means even though you send a request from the browser, from the system, from the browser, and once it leaves the system and goes in the network within the stipulated time, okay, if it is not possible to reach the server, you can just send a notification in the network for those kind of requests which are pending in the network. So don't send those requests to a server. Okay. And this can be done by using a inbuilt method in Ajax called as an abort. Further, even if a request fails in a traditional web application, there is no reason to alert the user. See, normally, when we send a request, server need not tell us, okay, now this is not the right time to send a request. So there is no such kind of mechanism. Okay, so you can simply cancel all the future requests to prevent any further errors from occurring. That means within the stipulated time, if the request is not going to a server, and whatever the requests that you have sent, existing request plus new request, so all those requests can be cancelled by using a abort method. Okay, so how do you do that? You can add on global variable, okay, which can be a boolean value, and you can dynamically set whether the request can be enabled or disabled. I will showcase a simple example. uh, okay, see, whatever the typical code that is there in Ajax script, so all those things remain same, only you have to add only this specific part of code. Okay, see here we have assigned a null to XML HTTP, so which basically takes your request object. Okay, OXML HTTP is a variable initially which I set it to null. Next, I will have one more variable, say 1000. I will set a time interval that it is 1000. Means 1000 milliseconds. Okay, so I must be able to send a request to a server and get the response within say 1000 milliseconds. Then I set one more boolean variable. Okay, so BLN request enabled. If that is true, okay, so if that is true, that means if that variable is true, okay, that means the server would have been processed that request, and okay, it will check for a status of say 200. There are two things happening. Else if you create a request, else if http dot ready state is not equal to 0, not ready to 0 means what? You are checking once the requests go to a server, you check for a ready state value that is say 4. Now in this case, the server might not be able to process that specific request. When you say zero means, again, when you are initializing new request, now you have sent one request, and I don't know whether that request is being processed or not. Okay, so when it is in process, I am going to send one more request. So within that, the old request, if it is not able to give the response within 1000 milliseconds, and if this new request is not initialized, then you just abort. That means cancel the request to be sent. Suppose if there are two requests, assume request 1 and request 2. Request 1 already you have sent to a server and you don't know what is its status. Okay, it is in a network. Now you are sending request 2. So when you are sending in a request 2, if it is not coming within, if the response is not coming within 1000 milliseconds, okay, then you don't send this new request. Which request? It is request 2. Okay, so that is the meaning of this first part of the code. Okay, the second part of the code is, another way to do this is, so I will be trying a request to send to a server for processing 10 times. Okay, initially I have a variable called as I failed. Okay, I failed is one variable initially which will be assigned to 0. Okay, so here less than 10 means I want to, uh, again and again I just try to repeat the request to send to a server, say 10 times, maximum 10 times. Okay, so I've showcased here in one of the place that, uh, yeah, in the scope, trying again in a few minutes. Okay, that means I can try the request, sending the request for say 10 times. Okay, so in this case, I want to download some information from a file called as additional.txt. Okay, additional.txt I want to download, so I will open it. Then I will check whether the request is reached to a server and response is being ready to send to a client. Okay. So it keeps checking your network. This information that downloading the information from a file called as additional links.txt will be there in the network. Now I would have sent a request first time, but I have not got the response within some time. Again, I will be checking. So the display information will be displayed in a block. Okay, and I'll be sending using null. And if you can use the, see, you can use this I failed plus plus. Okay, that means every time when you try to send a request, see, in the additional links.txt txt file, I have some information with respect to bootstrap, so I want to download that. So first I will send a request to that. It is not opening in the stipulated time. I will send the second request. Again, it will go. Sending the request means I don't type every time physically. I'll send it only once. But the client automatically tries to send the same request 9 times. Okay. So 0 to 9. So that will become 10. Okay. So every time when you are sending request, okay, so there will be a increment in the I file plus plus. Okay. So when I file becomes 9, so 9 less than 10. Okay, the condition is true, so it checks. So I have tried a same request 10 times, but still I'm not able to get a response from the server side. So it just comes out of the loop, okay, and throws what is called as an error as occurred. That means error has occurred at the server. So how did we do this? We have used what is called the try and catch block. So I hope all of you know what is a try and catch block, and you know what is throw and throws. Okay, throw is used to define a user defined exception. Okay, now what is that user defined exception? User defined exception name is error. Okay, and I'm sending a message called as an error occurred. Okay, so all the evaluation part, I mean to say sending a request, its processing and all those things is written in the try block. Okay, then if there is any error, it will be blocked, it will be catched in the object exceptions. Okay, so that is written in the function. So every time I'm trying it, okay, so 9 times, maximum 9 times I will try. So I'm not getting the response, and I will just come out of the loop. Okay, so when does the server know, when does the client know automatically that it has to be sent after every 1000 milliseconds? So I would have used this in my code. Okay, I will set the time. If within 1000 milliseconds, if I'm not getting a response, every 1000 milliseconds I have to send a new request. Okay, that's all. It is a short notes. So question will be like, write short notes on the concept of fallback pattern. So that's it. So do you have any questions? Okay, if you don't have any questions, we'll just wind up. Okay,